about inspire your audience. Please welcome Naveen.
Sisi, Shukriya, Dhanyawad, Toastmasters, for giving excellent opportunity to build and nurture leaders and to learn from peers besides knowing ourselves. Gracias, since I wanted to use that word as well. I was Googling in the internet for multiple languages how this thank you is referred as. Merci, taco, tado, shukran, chokran, likewise the list follows. Alright, before we get into the further details, let me ask you a few questions. How many of you were on real vacation in the last 1 month? Maybe can you raise your hands? Okay. How many of you have worked long hours in the last week? Significantly higher number. Friends, by this time I'm hoping you would have guessed my CCD 10 topic. It's about, any guesses?
Work-life balance.
Work-life balance, but I
Vacation.
call it as other way around. I refer to it as life-work balance. Because if you refer it as work-life balance, you end up working more and living life less. So call it as life-work balance. Alright, so what is life-work balance? It's about prioritizing between your career, which is ambitions versus your goals and aspirations versus rest of your life, which we are meant to live. I'll make an attempt to share you some tips which I have learned over a period of time in my entire career in terms of how efficiently we can maintain our life and work balance. During my initial career days, I came across this email which a person was sitting like me in front of a computer and he was providing on-call support. Imagine that person was not sitting on his desk. He was sitting on a platform. So that is how our lives are today. And do you know the reason? This reminds me of a famous quote mentioned by Robert Brooks. Robert Brooks is a famous psychologist and he is in fact author of a famous title called Power of Resilience, Achieving Work-Life Balance. And what he mentioned as part of his research is people are afraid of their job because of the cutbacks, the layoffs that are happening. They are afraid, saying that that might happen to me. That's the reason I'll contribute more and more so that I'll be the last one who will be sacked. Alright. So how do we achieve life-work balance? Guys, how many of you have felt like it is very challenging to balance between life and work? So at least 50%. Do you agree?
Yes.
And it's not just me or you, it happens to everybody. Not just the IT industry, for that matter, whoever is leading the professional life, it happens to each and every person. I'm going to share certain tips, and the reason I'm here to share those tips because I feel I'm successful to some extent. And to back that, I have some evidence. How many of you know that I did 2 postgraduate courses after I joined GE? Right. I led 10K run 3 times. I took care of the entire organizing of the event. I led family day organizing, entire budgeting, and I did MC. Apart from that, I've grown really well and currently wearing 2 or 3 hats. As a PMO leader as well as black belt, I'm on the verge of completing my work-life BB certification. At the same time, I have a kid who is 6 years old and she's going to school. I spend time with her. I go on vacation, the real vacation, every year. I visit major pilgrim centers like Tirupati at least once a year. I make an attempt to watch at least 2 to 3 movies in a month. I make an attempt to visit my hometown at least 10 times a year. Besides, without compromising on my job. And how many of you think that I'm working too late? Did you ever find me working at 11 p.m.? That happens very rarely. Alright, let me share the tips. The very first tip. Bring downtime to yourself as well. We normally bring downtime or the outage window to our applications, right? Treat yourself as an application and you need some maintenance. So try to pull that downtime and try to think about an activity which really energizes you or motivates you. Maybe reading a book or going out with a girlfriend if you are not married. If you are married, the story will be other way around. So think about things that really revitalizes you. And in my case, I do something which is very tough. I try to read more and more leadership articles and management related things because that boosts me. The fire in me gets more ignited as I start learning many, many things. So build downtime. That's the first thing which I would say. Second one, try to wake up early. How many of you wake up after the chicken is cooked? But normally are we expected to do that? We are expected to raise before the chicken raises or soon after the chicken raises so that we need to hear kukuruku. So, why do I suggest waking up early? Even I used to sleep till 9 o'clock, 10 a.m. in the morning because of late night hours that I used to spend in the office. But remember the productivity graph for a person. It might be like this, and for somebody it will be like this, like a sine wave. And in order to achieve balanced productivity graph, you need to utilize your mornings very effectively. Mornings are the time where we can spend on tasks that requires undivided attention. Nobody would be there around. In case if you are planning to write your emails, I think that's the best time to do so. Or if you are working on preparing for a highly critical meeting with your leader or CIO or something, that's the best time to do around. Right? So wake up early. And research shows, in fact, I have came across a vernacular magazine which spoke about lifestyle of various leaders that are successful in their fields. Even Jeff Immelt wakes up at 5:30. If you consider any successful person, Narendra Modi, he wakes up at 4:30 in the morning and he does meditation, yoga. So the rituals they follow are different from what we are. That's the reason they are at a very elevated level than what we are today. But definitely if we start practicing our second habit of raising early, you can definitely reach that level one day. And third one, delegate or share your work. Delegate or share your work. Normally we try to do it everything by ourselves. And especially, I don't know, my wife is a homemaker, so I'm little lucky, I would say, because she takes care of my kid. I spend some amount of time with my kid, but not as much as I expect to do so. So, if you can delegate or share your work, say for example, if I have to pick my kid from school, maybe I'll ask my neighbor to do so that I can balance when he requires some help. Likewise, the same thing is true at your work. Maybe you are on vacation and you don't have to carry your mobile, or you are planning for a movie. You don't have to carry your work phone to the cinema hall. Why don't you ask your peer to provide a support during that particular time, so that you can cover for that person at a later point in time. There are no regrets. If you do not want to do what we want to do, what we are expected to do at this point in time, we do not have a second life to live. So that's the third point. And fourth one, again, I'll talk about a professor of psychology, Merlin. What that lady says is people tend to spend majority of the time during their productivity hours doing unproductive things. For example, I mentioned I'm a black belt. I do have certain candidates whom I have to mentor and I get the credit. People come to me, though I don't get the credit for them, I have to mentor them. So that kind of activities. Or something which will not add any value to your career, unless if it comes out of passion, you feel free to do so, but try to cut down on activities which doesn't add any value to you. And these days, minute-to-minute update on Twitter, Facebook, suffering from fever. That person is down on bed with fever, but still he puts down with fever, 104° Fahrenheit, and then just trying to consume liquids, waiting for the doctor. Come on, is it really required? Why don't you do something productive? So think about activities which do not add any value in your day-to-day life or in your work, and online shopping. Probably we can cut down doing that. So these are the minor things. If we can really focus, I'm sure everybody will be able to achieve better life and work balance. And remember guys, a 1,000-mile journey starts with a single step. So I recommend everybody to take the first step of waking up early in the morning. So with that I conclude. Thank you so much for the opportunity.